You're very welcome back to the Leitrim Daily YouTube channel. And it has been a little bit since we've been bringing you regular updates on everything that's happening in and around the county. But one story that has been brought to our attention again this week is that of Leitrim ladies football and one little campaign that they're running over the next weeks and months that you may or may not be interested in. But we're going to tell you about it today and give you the opportunity to get involved. And I'm joined by the Secretary of Leitrim Ladies Football Board, PJ Ryan. PJ, you're very welcome back to the programme.
Good morning, Breffney, and again, thanks for having me here on your show this morning. Great to be here.
No problem. Always our pleasure to have Leitrim ladies represented on the show. PJ, how have things been for the county board and the sport in the very, very weird last 12 months we've had in the world, I suppose, not just the county?
Oh, yeah, weird is one way to describe it, Breffney, definitely. Look, on one hand, I suppose on the field things have been quiet. I suppose since the football finished up in late October there, when our Leitrim senior team had their 2 championship games. Then of course everything finished up there, but it's been quite busy in the background. There's been an awful lot of at the LGFA and the GA. They moved an awful lot of training online, so there's been webinars and training online all the time for whatever people want is there. Then within our county, we've been trying to, some different initiatives have been going on. So that's what we've been working on.
Yeah, of course. While the football's not taking place, it does give people the opportunity maybe to stop, relax, take a bit of a moment to reflect on maybe where they fit into the whole club and sport, really. One such area that I know you've been focusing on is the lack of referees, particularly female referees in the county. Tell us a bit about the problem and maybe what you're hoping to do to fix it.
Well, I suppose, Breffney, it's a problem. I suppose in the last 2 years now, we've only had one new referee joining, and very lucky we are to have her. She's started doing her refereeing courses, and she's refereeing the last 2 years. It'll be a serious problem in Leitrim in about 5 or 6 years' time if we don't grab the initiative now and start training referees. We don't have enough referees in Leitrim, so we have to do something about it. We can't have football in Leitrim if we don't have referees, and it's a problem that we all have to kind of join in and try and get to fix.
Yeah, because I suppose we all used to be going to games and having the 2 teams there, but one thing we kind of tend to forget about until they've made a mistake and we like to roar abuse at them is the referee. Now, it's not all about abuse. Obviously, most of the time we don't notice the referee. If the referee's doing a decent job, you don't notice them at all. But in terms of what's the solution for this, what have the county board decided to do?
Well, the county board have decided now we're running a Go Games referee course on the 9th of April. If anyone is interested in this course, they can contact their club secretary, and she's the details for it, or they can contact me at secretary.leitrim@lgfa.ie. The course is a 2-hour course in the Monday morning. 2-hour course on the 9th of April. And once they've completed this course, then they'll be able to referee up to go games under 12, non-competitive blitz type games. We'll be having experienced referees with them at their first couple of games to support them. And look, it's a good way, I think, for young people, it's a good way to, make some extra money as well as helping out at their club. There's opportunities there. There will be game. As a county board, we will be able to provide games and support that's needed. There's also a player pathway with the refereeing. If they complete this course, and next year there's a youth referee course and then an adult referee course. So there is a player pathway to becoming a referee.
Absolutely. And I think you touched on something that might be of interest to a lot of maybe older teenage players that are looking for a bit of a side income, really, in terms of making a bit of money. The way it works is you do your games and the total accumulates and you get paid at the end of the year. So it's a nice little Christmas present to yourself in December. Or has that changed?
No, you're correct, Berkeley. That's correct. Yeah, you play your games, and at the end of just before Christmas, then you could be getting a couple of €100. So I think that's a nice little, as you say, a nice little earner.
Yeah, absolutely. So I suppose who are you looking for specifically? Are you looking for say teenagers that might want to coach or referee under 10, under 12 games, or are you looking at retired players or club officials, or who exactly
Well,
is the target?
look, I suppose this we're looking for we are looking for anybody who is interested in refereeing, and maybe is also interested in continuing, doing the courses next year, and But I suppose, look, people, it's also for people that want to see, do they like, it's a good way to dip their toe in the water, refereeing an under 12. You're refereeing under 12, under 10 games. They're non-competitive. There's no pressure. You could see, okay, try it. I like it's only a 2 hour course. You referee a couple of games. Actually, you might decide I quite like this and go on to do the youth referee next year. The minimum age is 15, and there's no maximum age.
Excellent. Well, listen, I know I did refereeing around that age myself, from 16 to about 20, and I quite enjoyed it. Some people, it wasn't for them, and that was fine. They tried a couple of games, didn't like it, walked away. But I definitely got a lot of enjoyment out of it, met a lot of people through it as well. So I'd highly recommend it to anyone who's maybe considering the whole lot. We're very quick to throw abuse at a referee. It'd be nice to kind of see how people are on the other side, and it gives you a real feel for the game and a good knowledge of the rules as well, even just to bring back to your own playing career. That people
Absolutely,
might
yeah.
be interested in. Well, PJ, listen, thank you very much for joining us. We're actually going to leave you now. We're going to have a chat with two of the girls who actually have come through this course and are refereeing at the moment. So, PJ, thanks very much for joining us.
Again, Breffney, thanks for your time and thanks for promoting this.
So I'd like to welcome two referees within the county, Amy McLoughlin and Rachel McPartlin. Girls, you're very, very welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now, Amy, we might start with you because you've been refereeing slightly longer than Rachel. Tell us about maybe the last couple of years that you've been refereeing. What got you into it, and why have you stuck with it?
I suppose, well, coming from everyone might know me as Stephen McLaughlin's daughter, and he's a referee himself. And I suppose what got me into it is the opportunity just was presented within the club, like that. It was sent to our club secretary, and the secretary asked would anybody be interested in taking a referee course. And I suppose as a GAA player myself, or LGFA player, I suppose just to get a bit more familiar with the rules and try to enhance my own game as well, I said I'd try my hat at, getting involved in refereeing and that. And of course, I love the sport and wanted to get involved further. So taking on refereeing would give me the opportunity to do that. So it was kind of, yeah, just the opportunity presented itself and I went forward with it. And just throughout the years, I've continued to do it. Haven't really dwindled on the interest. So I've just continued to do it up until now.
And I suppose, Rachel, if we turn to you for a second, this is your first season. You've just done 1 year of refereeing. What was it like for you?
Yeah, it was. I really enjoyed it. I'm kind of the same as Amy. It was kind of a family affair. My uncle is a referee, so that's kind of what started me into it, and also just to get to know the rules. And I suppose playing up through the age groups, I would have been ref by a lot of men. I think I can probably count on one finger the amount of women referees I've ever been ref by. So just I think it's great just to get more women into it, and even for the younger girls, I've refed at blitzes because it's only my first year. I would have done them first, and even people were coming up to me saying, "Oh, it's great for even the younger under 10s being able to get refed by girls," and seeing that they can do it too. Like,
It does definitely create that kind of feeling that it's okay for girls to go into refereeing. Now, I suppose there's a perception that referees get a lot of abuse, get a lot of people shouting at them from the sideline. We've all seen it at games. How does I suppose what was that in terms of when you started thinking about refereeing? Were you worried about that? Was that an issue at all for you?
I'll let Rachel go
um,
first.
yeah, okay. Yeah, in all fairness, yeah, now going to see games, sometimes you would see referees get a lot in abuse, but actually being out in the middle of the pitch, you're just so involved in the game and you don't want to miss anything and you're constantly like traveling with the ball. Like, I don't hear anything from the sideline or further afar, and I don't think this year, I know I've only ref maybe up to under 14, but I haven't had to deal with any managers. Like, they get on with it and that's it. Like,
Amy, you've been involved a little bit longer. Have you had any negative experiences in terms of that?
I suppose look at on both ends of the pitch, you're going to have negative experiences. Like the crowd is so passionate and gets so into the game sometimes, and I think they do forget that at the end of the day, the referee is there to do a job. But at the same token, like Rachel said, sometimes you're just so into the game. And obviously, I know a lot of people wouldn't think it, but the game is so fast paced when you're in the middle of the pitch trying to watch every little thing that goes on. So you're so focused on your own job. Sometimes you do hear little shouts or little negative comments, but you kind of learn to just block it out. And you learn at the end of the day, it's not necessarily personally directed towards you. Like people just get kind of really passionate about the game, and people say stuff. Look, as a player myself, I know I've said stuff to referees, and I'm a referee myself, and kind of I'm just like, oh Jesus, I shouldn't have said that. But you know, once the whistle goes at the end of the game, it's kind of you just leave it all on the pitch, and you learn kind of just walk away and not to take anything too personal.
Yeah, I suppose that's probably the only negative associated with it, because there's so many positives that I can see, and I know I refereed when I was your age as well. In terms of, I suppose, just the exercise that's involved, I suppose that confidence that you get from being in control of that situation as well. It must help on so many different levels. Amy, maybe with yourself first, can you tell us about maybe some of the life skills and the experiences that you've brought out of that refereeing for the last 7 or 8 years?
Yeah, no, definitely I suppose exercise is a huge part of it. I would say myself, I nearly do more running as a referee sometimes than an actual player on the pitch, because as a ref, you have to be constantly with the ball. So you don't get the leisure of taking a break or kind of not following where the ball is or being right up in action. So definitely there's a huge, I suppose, fitness benefit to it. As well as that, you kind of learn how to speak to people. So you have to be kind of really well with your interpersonal skills, because I know Rachel said she's only dealt with kind of younger players, but you get the balance through the years when you're refereeing kind of adults and children, and you have to change your tone of voice, you have to change kind of the way you speak to them, you have to, you know, change your method of engagement. So you have to learn as well. There's a lot of learning in the way you actually engage with people. So that's a huge life skill you can bring to any level, kind of, and like that as well. If you want to get into coaching or even in general life, you have to learn how to speak to people politely, even though necessarily people mightn't be giving you the same respect back. You have to just learn to be respectful in all things, as well as that sticking to facts, because that's what referees have to do. You have to go on based on what you see and what you believe you're doing is right. And that's a huge thing, especially when you have players that might challenge your authority and your ruling on the pitch. But you kind of learn like that to build up the confidence and to realise, no, this is what I'm saying, we're going with this. You have to learn to respect that. So it's really about standing your ground as well, which I think is great to learn in any walk of life as well, to have the confidence to turn around and correct someone or to go with your gut feeling on something. So that's some positives that I would take out of refereeing 100%.
Rachel, so same question to you. What's been the biggest lesson you've learned this year?
Yeah, no, I think Amy's covered nearly everything. I think communication is the big one. Like myself, I'm training to be a teacher, and I can see so much confidence I've taken off the pitch in dealing with kids, even on placement, like, and even dealing with if you do have any problems at the sideline, just as Amy said, just a different tone between both. And also, like, I think maybe your critical thinking skills, because something happens in a split second, you have to decide there and then, and you stick with it. So just being alert and having the confidence to go with your first judgment, like.
Yeah, I suppose another fear that people might have is the fear of making a mistake and having people who are looking for any reason at all to get on your back. You make a mistake, 50% of the people at the game are going to be given out to you. How do you deal with that? Particularly maybe if you do make a mistake, because we're all human. We do make mistakes from time to time. How do you get on with kind of that situation? And has that been an issue in the real world in games?
Well, I know myself, I've definitely made mistakes. I'm not going to hold my hand up and say I've been a perfect referee. I don't think anybody can, because like that, the game can be so fast paced and fast moving. Sometimes, look, you're not going to get it right all the time, and you might make a wrong judgment call, or give a ball a different way, or give a free and not give it another time. But like that, you kind of just learn, if you make a mistake, you have to get up and get on with it, and you kind of just take responsibility if you have made a mistake, and realize it's not the end of the world. You live, you learn. Next time, right or wrong again, and you might make the same mistake again, but you just have to get on with it, because if you stop the game, or if you start to doubt yourself throughout the game, you'll never make a call, or you'll be afraid to blow the whistle again, which doesn't help anybody. It doesn't help you, and it doesn't help the teams on the pitch either. So I think make a mistake is just a part of being a ref, and you just have to kind of get on with it. That's my thinking down to the years. Rachel might have something different.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Like you're human. Like you're never going to get everything right. And probably one of the best pieces of advice I've gotten, I'm doing the accelerator program for refs at the moment, is one of the national referees said that when players are roaring at you, they're roaring at the ref. They're not roaring at you personally. Like you're human, you're going to get stuff wrong. So once it's over, it's over. You leave it on the pitch. You go home and you learn from your mistakes, but you don't carry them around with you because, as I said, you're human and you're not going to get everything perfect. Like.
And I suppose finally, what advice would you give to someone who's maybe watching this or maybe been asked to take part in a referee's course within the county in the next couple of weeks? Would it be a thumbs up or a thumbs down to get involved?
You can go ahead, Rachel.
Yeah, I think no, definitely a thumbs up, like 100%. Not only for your fitness, even just go try it out, your confidence skills, like it's just so good for all that. And even to getting to know the rules, like I know as myself as a player, like, you know, as Amy said, I would have shouted at a ref sometimes, but like it's because I don't think we know the rules enough. So even just for getting involved for that, and then even doing under 10 blitzes, like the non-competitive stuff, I think it's just great, even for building your social skills and just everything. It's great.
Final
Yeah,
word
no,
to
I
you.
would agree. It's it's just something, you know, I got into it. I didn't know if I'd like it or not. And again with that, there's no pressure. If you go into it and you don't end up liking it, you don't have to go back again. That's the thing about it. But once you have the course done, it's there and you have it for, you know, however long you want to have it. So I think it would be definitely beneficial to do the sport or go forward with the course regardless. Because at the end of the day, like Rachel said, you're building your knowledge of the sport in general, even if you don't want to actually participate in the refereeing side of it. It could build your skills on the coaching side of it. If you want to get involved in an underage team or that, you'd know the rules much better. And it does teach you different skills about the game and kind of different tells as well that you might not realise. I think I've had, you know, you've had positive and negative experiences, but overall, I've had a really positive experience with it, and I'd encourage anybody to go forward for the course and to try it out.
Excellent. Well, listen, girls, thanks very much for joining us this morning. To PJ, who was with us earlier. Anyone who's interested can get more information from your club, from the county board. PJ gave his email address out earlier, and also Leitrim LGFA.ie. Thank you very much for watching us here on Leitrim Daily, and we'll be back with you very, very shortly.